Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Tonight I think it'll be only one video. I got everything done except for two minor spreadsheets. I believe that's got to be done tomorrow and Tuesday. Today I spent some time with what happened was I got out of bed early and I waited and waited and waited, and finally Aaron says, "Girl, I was playing basketball." So I was like, "Fine, hurry up." So we get over and we're talking. He asked me to do a little recon work to see if the neighbors, what was going on, because something. So all of a sudden he was leaving apparently, and the neighbor, the repair guy goes, "Hey, can we punch a hole into your screen window and run a cable down there?" And looked at him and says, "No, I'm paying for the effing electricity for some effing douchebag that wants to use my electricity for free. He can do it himself." And the repair guy called him selfish. He says, "I don't care if the guy gets a $180 bill for using a heater, engine heater core block thing for heating his oil, which after a while, if you keep using it, the engine will stop, and then that's it. The truck is unworkable." So Aaron's like, "So what do you want to do tonight?" I'm like, "I don't know." So I said, "I want to do my video," and he looked at me and he goes, "Even if you want to do your video, there's nothing you can do with it." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, for one, there's nothing you can do about it because you gotta wait for me to finish my apps and then you can upload it." So I'm like, "Oh man." So I talked to him. We talked. I was like, "Yeah." Me and him just discussed basic things, nothing much. Today we were going round and round about different things, but nothing major. I mean, we talked about things. He came in when I was getting ready to take a shower, and he looked at me and he said, and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I talked to Heather's sister, Angela's sister, Heather." And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, and she's talking about material things." And I'm like, "Okay, what's that mean?" He goes, "Well, I think I want to do a video about material possessions, how we need certain things, but we don't know everything." I looked at him and I said, "Oh, okay. So we're doing this instead of these." He said, "Well, we can do these ones later." He said, "These ones are more important at the moment anyways." And it made me to think. So, being funny, I was like, "Okay, so El Gabo is going to be talking." And he says, "Yeah, there's nothing much that you're going to say much because, mostly, he knows what I'm going to say anyways." So, got that done. But before then, he's like, "Well, we got some time. I got to prep the crescent dogs." That's what they call them. Crescent dogs is a dog that's wrapped in crescent, a hot dog wrapped in crescent rolls and then baked and with cheese. So he did that. And let me tell you, I think between the cheese and the hot dog, there was a lot of salt in it. I mean, I complained. I was like, "Hey, it's not bad." And he says, "Yeah," and I said, "But it ain't good." And he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "There's got to be high salt content." So Aaron looked at the package and says, "Yeah, it's high salt content." He said, the American cheese has it too." I'm like, he's like, "I think it's a process, so that's why it's got high salt, the cheese itself." And I said, "It could be the what do you call it, the buttered croissant roll that he had to unroll, wrap up the hot dog." And I said, "Every time you do that." And he said, "Yeah, it seems it doesn't wrap it properly." He says, "Yeah, I know. Seems you need to have 2 crescent rolls to do it." And he's like, "That means you need a package of 2 packages." I said, "I don't know, just my opinion." Opinion duly noted. And I'm like, "It was nothing major." And he's just like, "Oh, don't worry about it, So we got that done, and I got spreadsheet done, and then we watched Captain America, the first Avenger, and that was really good. I didn't think it was going to be that good because, Marvel Comics, but they did good. Then they did The Avengers. And I got to tell you, The Avenger was the 3rd ranking movie of all time for money. Titanic took number 2 spot. Was number 1 for a long time. Now Avatar has. Someone told me to watch Avatar the other day, and I was just so stoked. It was like, I don't know. So I'm so happy. Nothing to report much. I got 2 spreadsheets I think to do. I gotta check on and cross-check a couple things. I gotta put something on my calendar, but it's getting closer and closer to Christmas. I got less than 48 hours to Christmas. It's like 47 hours and 46 minutes to go to Christmas. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I got a little tablet thing and it tells how long. So, but yeah, anyways, Aaron and I were talking, and Aaron's just like cool, you know. I told him I vented last night, and he's just like, yeah, well, you have the camera to do it. He said, I got a friend to do it, but I was like, when's your friend? He goes, oh, crap, I was supposed to do it today. I was like, oh, you're not going to hear the last of it. And he's like, yeah, well. Oh, and the other thing is Christmas Day, you guys are going to see me in a dress. We're going to use the iPad for the things, as well as we're going to do our videos of unwrapping our gifts on video as well, to share with you all on Living Simply Fun. So, I'm going to be wearing a dress. Oh, I'm also talked to Aaron about some new shoes. He's like, you women in shoes. I'm like, well, I need some new ones because it's been a while. He goes, maybe you should marry a woman and have a... I said, I tried. I said, you know, and oh, I talked to Aaron about this project. I call it a project. Heather brought it to my attention on something, and Aaron looked at me and he said, what was it Heather wanted? I said, Heather wanted us to talk to Angela about something simple, you know, about coming out here. Aaron says, it's not worth our time. I said, what do you mean? It's Angela. He said, it's Angela, yes, but Angela has got it ingrained that mommy and daddy need to take care of her, and that's her security net. So technically, we won't go there, is what he said. I said, okay. He says, we'll just be friends with them. I said, all right. So, otherwise, nothing else to report, I don't think, you know. I have my coffee that I spilled right there. Just a little dab, you know, it's okay. Me and Aaron talked about a few things, you know. I had to look up a couple things tonight, and I was like, wow, you know. I'm telling you, the ladies of the thingy, I told Aaron, looked at me and he goes, you know, Marita? I said, what? You see, you know, that girl and that girl and that girl that did it in these movies tonight? And I said, those would be the perfect type of things that you could get a young woman to cosplay. You're looking good. I said, yeah. And then I said, maybe. And then he said, you know, we were talking about cosplaying momentarily. We didn't talk about cosplay much because he's just like, yeah, bah humbug type thing. But that you know, that's Aaron for you. So, you know, the other thing is I'm getting into Breath of Fire again. So I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I asked him, and you know, Aaron's just like, oh, you want to do Breath of Fire? Okay. I think he logged me out of my own freaking account. Because usually I keep Facebook open at all times, unless the web browser screwed up. So, yeah, anyways, yeah, so I got Breath of Fire, or I got my book to read tonight. I got to chapter 28, and I was just like, and then I went to bed. I didn't even turn on the West Wing last night. Aaron's like, well, you're almost done with season 3. What's taking you so long? I said, my book. I said, for some reason, the West Wing is, I mean, first 3 seasons are great, but it's in a slowdown period where they're just like, hurry up and get me reelected. And it's like, stuff like that. It's like, they need to make the TV show more enjoyable, you know, but the show's over, so. And then I was looking at Star Trek, you know, and Aaron's just like, oh, do you know which ones are which? I said, no. He said, look into it. I said, okay. So, I said, no problem. So me and Aaron talked about that, but that was as far as we went, you know. And, you know. So, tonight, me and Aaron's going to discuss a couple business things. One is getting to the post office. My cheese is in Pullman, Washington. That's right. I'm kind of happy, but I'm also kind of sad because it keeps saying 2 to 4 more days from Pullman. But Pullman's not that far. It's like 3-hour truck ride, so it should hit Moses Lake tonight. But with the dang postal service, no one knows what the heck's going on, you know? It's like me and Aaron were talking about that gift. He's hoping Heather and Angela's gift's under the tree. It hasn't said delivered. he was kind of wondering about that, and I'm just like, well, it's Postal Service. So, and then I tried convincing him today again about last night's thought on him doing that other thing. Aaron just looked at me and he goes, no, I'm not interested in Westerns. You should. I was like, fine. So, because we were talking about Western books, I said, you should be interested, and etc. So, and I told Aaron, I'm hoping my cheese comes tomorrow. And he says, again, what's your cheese? He says, I'll let it slide because you're happy it's in Pullman. I said, yeah, but the estimated time is right here, but it hasn't left. He said, dude, he said, keep checking it till you go to bed. If it's on its transit to Quincy, he said, you're good. I said, well, what about the other thing? Or, Moses. It's got to go to Moses, then to Wenatchee or whatever, and Freda and etc. before getting to me. But he's just like, don't worry about it. And then I said, well, what about my other thing? He said, what other thing? I said, your order. He said, where was it last time? I said, last time it was checked. It was in Spokane on a truck coming out here. He said, then it'll be here tomorrow. We just wait in line like everyone else. So I was like, okay, well, what's your plan? He said, it'll be delivered tomorrow. He said, the other one, I don't know. I said, right now it's in Pullman. He said, it takes that long for Pullman? I said, yeah. So, who knows what's going to happen. I just hope it gets here. And he's like, well, if it gets here the 24th, you're still in luck, So, anyways, that's about it, I just want to get my book done. Breath of Fire started. I don't know what I'm going to be doing tonight. I should read. Aaron's like, if you're tired, you should go to bed early. I should. I also want Tuesday, I'm allocating some time in the evening while Aaron's prepping the pies to take a long bubble bath. I want to take a bubble bath because I want to get clean and ready to go for Wednesday, which is Christmas morning, and I want to take a nice shower Christmas morning or afternoon. Aaron's like, well, we'll open presents when you're having your coffee. I'm like, okay, but I got to wash up first so I don't look scruffy. And he's like, no problem, you look good. I said, hopefully next year I'll have a lady with me to do Christmas with. He says, uh-huh. He says, keep that in your heart. But it won't happen, so I'm hoping we get the phone call made tomorrow and the post office done tomorrow and the library done. So, with that said, I just want to say that's it. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully tomorrow, cross our fingers, Aaron's present's delivered on time, and my cheese is delivered. I've been waiting for my cheese for days. I mean, I'm like a little kid, but I'm not worried about Aaron's. I just want my cheese because I like to enjoy a nice little cheese in the evenings when no one's around. A nice little cheese wheel. Aaron's like, oh yeah, I get some cheese, I get some cheese, I get some cheese. I said, no, you get your Christmas present under the tree. I get the cheese. 8 to 13 pounds, whenever they shipped me, I get it. He gets, he's like, we're not going to share. Said it's my cheese. So, that said, please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. Please add me as a friend if you like. And thank you and have a nice day.